Hello everyone and welcome to today's session. And today we'll be discussing the theory related to the chapter Microbes in Human Welfare. This is the part 2 of the lecture. And in this session we'll be discussing NCERT section 8.3. So this is the disclaimer. Okay, so let's understand what are the objectives of today's session. Okay, so first we will understand the basics of sewage treatment. Okay, and we will also understand how microorganisms, they help reduce the BOD, which is biological oxygen demand, or you can say it biochemical oxygen demand. Okay, so basically these microorganisms, they break down the organic waste in the sewage and thus they bring down the BOD. So we will understand this process. We will also describe the two main stages of sewage treatment, which is primary treatment and the secondary treatment. So we'll understand what is the difference between these two types of treatment. Okay, we'll also understand the formation and importance of bacterial flocks in the sewage treatment. Okay, and how the processes produces useful byproducts like biogas and activated sludge. Alright, so today we'll be talking about microbes in sewage treatment, which is NCERT section 8.3. Within this topic, we'll talk about primary and the secondary treatment. Okay, we'll also talk about the BOD, which is biochemical oxygen demand. We'll also talk about activated sludge and anaerobic sludge digester. Okay, then we will summarize this entire session. We'll discuss some NCERT based questions which are related to these topics. We'll discuss some keynotes that will help you memorize these topics as well. Okay, in the end, there'll be some interesting questions that will help you enhance your critical thinking ability. Okay, now let's start this session. First, let's talk about the role of microbes in sewage treatment. Okay, so specifically, we'll be focusing on sewage treatment here. So microorganisms, they play a crucial role by breaking down the organic waste in the sewage. Clear? So let's understand what is sewage. So there is a question related to this topic in your book, question number 7. This is related to the topic role of microorganisms in sewage treatment. Okay, so basically what is sewage? Sewage is essentially wastewater that contains a lot of organic matter and harmful microorganisms. So these harmful microorganisms, they can cause disease, so they are pathogenic. Okay, so this makes it a potential health hazard if not treated properly. Okay, so the high biological oxygen demand, means BOD, of sewage indicates a significant amount of organic pollution. Okay, so if there is high BOD, it means there is high content of organic matter, means the water is polluted. Okay, so treating of this water, it is very important. Treating the sewage is very important. Okay, clear? Now, what is the significance of microorganisms here? So these microorganisms, they are nature's way of cleaning up the organic waste and reducing the pollution. Okay, so microorganisms, they act as natural biodecomposers, breaking down the complex organic matter into simpler substances. And this process is very important. This is very essential for reducing the harmful impact of the sewage. Okay, so the sewage, this can cause environmental degradation also. This can cause loss of lot of diseases also because this contain pathogenic microbes. Now, by breaking down the organic waste, microorganisms help reduce the amount of harmful substances in the water. Okay, and this is a very critical step in the sewage treatment. Okay, so these microorganisms, they are reducing the amount of harmful substances or pollution, you can say, in the water. Now these microorganisms, they consume the pollutants and convert them into less harmful substances. such as carbon dioxide and water. Now, this transformation is crucial for protecting aquatic life and reducing pollution levels as well. Clear? Now, this process reduces the biochemical oxygen demand. So, as microorganisms, they break down the organic waste. So, the BOD also reduces because of this. Now, lowering BOD is essential for making water safer for the environment. Clear? So, these microorganisms, they are breaking down this organic matter. They are decomposing this organic matter. And slowly the BOD will reduce. So BOD is basically the amount of oxygen that is being utilized by these microorganisms to degrade the organic matter. Okay, this is clear. Now let's move on. Now, what is the goal of sewage treatment? Why we want to treat this sewage? Okay, now to make sewage less polluting, we reduce the amount of organic matter. Okay, so goal is to reduce the organic matter and the BOD of the sewage, making it less polluting. We want to make this water cleaner so that it should be safe for the environment. Okay, so we want to reduce the organic matter. If we reduce the organic matter, the BOD will also decrease, and this water will be safer for the aquatic life as well. Okay, so here you can see, this is an image showing you goal of the sewage treatment. See, you can see the pipes, they are take water to the treatment center. Means sewage consists of all the organic matter or the waste from your homes. Okay, then you can see this is a screening stage, then there is the primary treatment stage, this is followed by the secondary treatment stage, then there is a final treatment stage, and the filtered water is you can say now poured into the rivers. Okay, now this water is safe for the aquatic life. Okay, because this water, it contains a lot of harmful chemicals which can degrade the environment also, and they can affect the aquatic life as well. Clear? We want to reduce the BOD also. Okay, if the BOD is very high, then again there is no oxygen left for the aquatic animals, because all the oxygen will be utilized by the microorganisms. Let's talk about BOD, biochemical oxygen demand or biological oxygen demands. So BOD measures how much organic matter is in the water. Okay, it is a, you can say, measurement of how much polluted the water is. Now, amount of oxygen required to oxidize all organic matter in 1 liter of water by bacteria, this is known as BOD. Okay, for this decomposing, for degrading the organic matter, oxygen is required. So this oxygen is required by these microorganisms. Okay, so this is a very simple definition of BOD. Now, high BOD indicates high pollution level. Okay, means if the BOD is very high, means the water is heavily polluted. The organic content is very high. Low BOD indicates cleaner water. Clear? So here you can see, this is an image showing you biological oxygen demand. Here you can see oxygen is dissolved in the water. Then you have the organic compounds in the water, and you have microorganisms in the water. So what these microorganisms are doing, they are utilizing the oxygen, dissolved oxygen in the water, and with the help of this oxygen, they are breaking down this organic compounds. Okay, so initially the BOD will be high. Now, as the organic compound is being broken down, the BOD will lower down. And when the BOD is less, then we can say the water is less polluted now. Okay, our water is cleaner as compared to earlier. Now let's talk about sewage treatment plant. Okay, how can you define sewage treatment plant? So basically it is a collection of wastewater treatment process. This means it's a group of different method used to clean dirty water, especially sewage. Okay, here different methods are being used to clean the sewage. It includes a combination of physical, chemical and biological processes to remove pollutants from the sewage. Okay, so basically it uses three type of method: physical method like filtering, chemical method like using specific chemicals or substances, and biological method which involve use of the microorganisms. And this is done to get rid of harmful materials or harmful stuff in the dirty water. The goal of treatment is to enable safe discharge into natural water bodies. And the purpose of cleaning the water is so that the water should be safely released back into the rivers and the lakes or oceans without harming the environment or without harming the aquatic life. Example is Okla water treatment, wastewater treatment plant. Okay, this is in New Delhi. Here you can see this is an aerial view of a sewage plant. Okay, different methods are being used here, like primary treatment, secondary treatment. We'll talk about primary treatment and secondary treatment as well. What is done? What is the difference between these two treatment? Now, what is the sewage treatment process? Again, there is a question in your book, question number 8, which is related to this topic. So the treatment is carried out in two main stages. What are these stages? First is the primary treatment stage. Okay, primary treatment stage is involved physical process. It is a physical process. It is a mechanical process. So this treatment focuses on removing large size particles. Then you have secondary treatment. Secondary treatment is a biological process. Means it is dependent on the use of microorganisms to decompose the organic matter. Okay, let's talk about primary treatment first. So it is a physical process to clean the water. Now what is done here? Filtration is done. So in filtration, what happens? So this step removes large floating objects from the water by passing it through the filters. Okay, so sequential filtration is being done here. The floating debris is removed by sequential filtration. Okay, then next step is sedimentation. So here the heavy particles like soil and small stones settle at the bottom of the large tanks and then they are removed. So grit, which means soil and the small pebble, they are removed by sedimentation in the settling tanks. Okay, first is filtration, second is sedimentation. Now, what is the importance of primary treatment now? So it helps remove large objects, floating items and solid particles from the water. Now, the partially cleaned water from this process is then sent for further cleaning in the secondary treatment. So the effluent, okay, the partially cleaned water from the primary treatment is taken for the secondary treatment. So here you can see this is the image showing you primary treatment. Here you can see this is a grit chamber and then you have the sedimentation tank here. Okay, so all the physical material that is being removed, like the floating debris, soil and pebbles, they are removed. So you have a grit chamber and then you have sedimentation tank and then you can see the effluent which is coming out, which is partially clean water. This is then subjected to the secondary treatment. And here in the first step you can see screening is being done here. Filtration is being done here. Then you have grit chamber. Okay, grit means soil and small pebbles and then you have the sedimentation tank. Okay, clear? Now let's move on. Let's talk about secondary treatment. So it is a biological process, means microorganisms are being used here. First step is aeration. Here the air is added to the water. Okay, because air is used for decomposition of the organic matter. So the primary effluent is passed into large aeration tanks. So water from the initial treatment, from the primary treatment, is moved into big tanks and then air is passed. It is constantly agitated mechanically and the air is pumped into it. Okay, so the water is stirred continuously and the air is bubbled through it. So aeration is being done. Okay, and it is rotated also. It is agitated also so that the air should you can spread evenly. Okay, so this allows for vigorous growth of useful aerobic microorganisms and flocs. Okay, so what does this mean? This means that this helps good bacteria that need oxygen to grow quickly in the clumps. Okay, so aerobic bacteria are being used here. Clear? So by adding this air and by agitating it, what you are doing? You are promoting the rapid growth of these useful microorganisms into flocs. Flocs means clumps. Okay, the flocs are now made. Okay, so these clumps are made. Flocs means clumps. So what are flocs? They are the masses of bacteria associated with fungal filament. Okay, they are groups of bacteria along with some fungal threads with them. Now together they create a web-like form. So mesh-like means they form a web-like form. Here you can see this is an image showing you secondary treatment. Okay, so you're talking about the secondary treatment. This is the second phase in the wastewater treatment, which is focusing on lowering the organic pollutant. Second is the BOD reduction. Okay, now you can see here microorganisms that need oxygen, they use the organic waste in the water as food and they grow. So the aerobic bacteria, they are now using this organic matter, they are feeding on this organic matter. Okay, so they are consuming this organic matter, they are decomposing this organic matter and they are growing, they are feeding on this. Okay, so this significantly reduces the BOD of the effluent. So organic matter is being decomposed, so the BOD will also reduce because of this. Okay, so as microorganisms break down the waste, the demand for oxygen will also decrease, means the BOD will decrease. Okay, so this process goes on until the water's pollution level is very low, means less than 10% of what it was at the start. Okay, this is clear. Now next, step 3 is the settling tank. Now after the primary biological treatment, the wastewater effluent has less organic matter now. Okay, clear? So now the organic matter is less because organic matter has been decomposed by the aerobic bacteria. Now it is moved to the settling tank for the next step of separation. Okay, so once BOD is reduced, then they are passed on, then the effluent is passed into the settling tank. Now here what happens? Now in the settling tank, clumps of bacteria known as flocs, they clump together and they become heavy enough to settle to the bottom. Now this settled material, which is made up of microorganisms and solid waste, is known as activated sludge. Clear? So basically these bacterial flocs, they are allowed to sediment. They settle down. Okay, along with some solid waste. This is known as activated sludge. So activated sludge basically consists of this bacterial floc. Okay, next step is sludge management. So basically sludge means semi-solid waste material which is generated during the process of wastewater treatment. Now a portion of the activated sludge is returned to the aeration tank where the bacteria were originally grown. Okay, so small portion of activated sludge is pumped back into the aeration tank. Clear? So this serves as an inoculum. Clear? Clear? So it acts as a seed culture, introducing new bacteria to the fresh waste water in the aeration tank to start the process of breaking down organic matter all over again. Okay, so this activated sludge is used as an inoculum to again start the process, to again start the breakdown of the organic matter. Okay, now the remaining major part is pumped into large tank called anaerobic sludge digester. Clear? So this remaining of the activated sludge is rich in organic matter. This is transferred to, or this is pumped to sealed tanks called as anaerobic sludge digester. Now here, the bacteria which do not require oxygen, means anaerobic bacteria, they break down the organic matter further, which help reduce the volume of organic matter. And in this process, biogas is being produced, because biogas, they are produced by anaerobic bacteria. Clear? So remaining of the sludge, activated sludge, okay, this is pumped into anaerobic sludge digesters, where anaerobic bacteria will further digest the organic matter. So in this image you can see secondary wastewater treatment process. This is the effluent. This is passed into the aeration tank. Okay, here air will be introduced, and this agitation will be done here to promote the growth of the microorganism. Then you get the activated sludge. Then a small portion of this activated sludge is added back to the aeration tank, and rest of the activated sludge is pumped into the anaerobic sludge digesters. Okay, clear? Then what happens? Okay, let's talk about anaerobic digestion now. So in these anaerobic digesters, anaerobic bacteria will digest the inorganic substances in the sludge. Okay, so these anaerobic bacteria, they do not require oxygen for the breakdown of the organic components. Okay, clear? So now further organic breakdown of the organic matter is done by the anaerobic bacteria. Now as the bacteria consume this sludge, they release gas as a byproduct. Okay, so this gas is rich in methane. So biogas is being produced. Okay, clear? What is the main component of biogas? It is methane. So bacteria produces a mixture of gases here, such as methane, hydrogen sulfide, and carbon dioxide. Okay, these are the component of the biogas. Biogas is used as the fuel. It can be used for cooking, it can be used for lighting, it can be used for electricity generation as well. Okay, our next step is released into the water bodies. Now the effluent from the secondary treatment plant is generally released into natural water bodies like river and streams. Okay, so here you can see this is an image showing you secondary treatment. Now, what are the government initiative for sewage treatment? So first is Ganga Action Plan and Yamuna Action Plan. Okay, these were the initiative taken by the government. Now the Ministry of Environment and Forest has initiated these plans, Ganga Action Plan, Yamuna Action Plan. Now the primary goal was to save these major rivers from pollution by building a large number of sewage treatment plants. So this is an image showing you Ganga Action Plan and Yamuna Action Plan. So you can see these rivers are now very much polluted, and these rivers are sacred rivers. They need to be protected. Okay, now let's summarize this entire session. So we talked about the primary treatment and the secondary treatment. Okay, we talked about the sewage treatment process today. Clear? So what are the basic concepts and primary treatment? So you can see sewage. What is sewage? It is the wastewater with high organic matter and pathogens. Okay, and the sewage has high BOD because the organic matter is very high, pollution level is very high. Okay, now BOD, it measures the organic matter in the water. So high BOD means high pollution, low BOD means water is cleaner. Now what is primary treatment? It is a physical process. It involves filtration and sedimentation. Filtration means removal of the floating debris. Sedimentation means removal of the soil and the pebbles. Now what are the role of microorganism? In secondary treatment, the microorganisms are used. Secondary treatment is a biological process. So they act as natural biodecomposers. They can break down the organic waste. Okay, and by breaking down the organic waste, they can reduce the BOD and they can convert pollutant to less harmful substances. We talked about the secondary treatment also. Okay, so first of all, the effluent from the primary treatment is passed into the aeration tank. Now air is added and mechanical agitation is done. This is done to you can say initiate vigorous growth of the microorganism, and in the end the aerobic microorganism, they will form flocks. Okay, these flocks will settle along with some solid waste. This is known as the sludge, activated sludge. Then there is a further BOD reduction because microorganisms, they consume the organic matter and the BOD reduces to less than 10% of the initial value. Then come the settling and the sludge treatment. Now bacteria flocks from the activated sludge. Okay, some of this activated sludge is again introduced into the aeration tank. This acts as an inoculum for starting the process all over again, and rest of the activated sludge is pumped to the anaerobic digesters, where further organic matter is broken down with the help of anaerobic bacteria, and in this process biogas is being produced. Biogas is basically, what is the major component of biogas is methane and carbon dioxide, and along with some hydrogen sulfide as well. Then the treated water is released into natural water bodies like rivers and oceans. And some government initiatives has been taken to protect our rivers, okay, such as Ganga and Yamuna Action Plan. Now let's discuss some NCERT based questions. See, first question is, what is the primary indicator used to measure water pollution in sewage treatment? Okay, you have 4 options. You have to select the correct answer from these options. So first option is pH level, second is temperature, third is biochemical oxygen demand, and fourth is bacterial count. What is the correct answer? Okay, so let's have a look at the answer. So answer is option number C, BOD, biochemical oxygen demand or biological oxygen demand. Okay, so BOD is a key measure of organic matter in water. It tells us how much organic, you can say, material is present in the water, or how polluted the water is. So if the BOD is high, means the organic matter content is high in that water. If the BOD is less, means the water is cleaner. So BOD basically indicates the oxygen required by bacteria to break down the organic matter. So indirectly it is telling about the content of the organic matter in the water. Higher BOD means the water is more polluted. Okay, higher BOD means more oxygen is required by the microorganism to break down the organic matter. Okay, lower BOD means cleaner water. Okay, so if there is less BOD, if there is less, you can say, organic matter, the BOD will be less, means the water is cleaner. Next question, during secondary treatment, what are flocks? Okay, so they are asking about flocks. Okay, now options are chemical additives. Are there some chemicals which are added? Next option is masses of bacteria with fungal filaments. Clear? Then next option is floating debris and fourth option is settling tanks. What is the correct answer here? So let's have a look at the answer. See option number B, mass of bacteria and fungal filament. This is the correct answer. Okay, so flocks, they are formed during the aeration process. Okay, so during wastewater treatment, the air is added in the aeration tank. Okay, so that, and it is agitated also, mechanically agitated. This is done to enhance the growth of the aerobic bacteria. Okay, now these bacteria and some other microorganisms such as fungi, they clump together to form flocks. Clear? So these are known as flocks. Now they create mesh-like structures. So they are like web-like structures, bacteria along with the fungus. Okay. Now they help in consuming organic matter. So these flocks, they actively consume the organic matter present in the wastewater. Okay, these flocks, they are made up of microorganisms. So these microorganisms, they are decomposing the organic matter. Okay, so they are essentially removing the waste material from the sewage by decomposing it. Now, they are the key to reducing BOD. So these flocks, they decompose the organic matter. They are consuming the organic matter. So these flocks significantly reduce the BOD of the wastewater, making it cleaner. Okay, this is clear. Now let's move on to the next question. What is produced in anaerobic sludge digester? Okay, so options are oxygen, pure methane, biogas, or carbon monoxide. What is the correct answer? So let's have a look at the answer. Okay, option number C, biogas is the correct answer. So this biogas is basically produced by the anaerobic bacteria. Means these bacteria, they do not require oxygen. Okay. Now biogas basically consists of a mixture of gases such as methane, hydrogen sulfide, and carbon dioxide. But the major component is methane and carbon dioxide as well. Now this biogas is formed during the sludge digestion. So this sludge is digested by anaerobic bacteria. And anaerobic bacteria, while they decompose the organic matter, they produce these gases which are known as biogas. And this biogas is used as a fuel. It is a renewable source of energy. Biogas can be used for cooking, it can be used for lighting, it can be used for electricity generation as well. Okay, it is a very useful byproduct of the sewage treatment. Okay, so as the bacteria, they are decomposing the organic matter, this biogas is produced, and this biogas is captured, it is stored, and this is used as a renewable energy source for heating, for generating electricity. Okay, now let's move on to the keynotes. Let's discuss some keynotes. These keynotes will help you memorize these topics as well. So we talked about the sewage and the BOD today. Sewage is basically wastewater with high organic matter as well as pathogens. So it consists of pathogenic organisms also which can cause diseases. Okay, then BOD means biochemical oxygen demand. This indicates the pollution level. Higher BOD means the water is polluted. Okay, means the organic matter content is high. High BOD means more pollution. Low BOD means cleaner water. Now, what is the treatment process? Wastewater treatment process. First is the primary treatment, which is a physical process. It involves filtration, means removal of the floating debris, and then sedimentation, which means removal of the grit. Now next is the secondary treatment, which is the biological process. Here the microorganisms, they are used to decompose the organic matter. Here first of all, aeration is done to promote the growth of the aerobic bacteria, okay, or aerobic microorganisms, and flocs are produced in the aeration tank. Okay, then there is a BOD reduction. So as the microorganism consume organic matter, the BOD is reduced. Then the activated sludge is formed, and a part of this activated sludge is, you can say, is pumped into the aeration tank so as to start the overall process again. Okay, then remaining of the activated sludge, this is pumped into the anaerobic digestion tank, where the biogas is being produced by the activity of the anaerobic bacteria as it is further degrading the organic matter. Okay, now microorganism, what are the role of microorganisms? They are acting as a natural biodecomposers. So these microorganisms, they release certain enzymes. With the help of the enzyme, they can decompose the organic matter. Okay, so they help in the breakdown of the organic matter. Okay, as the organic matter reduces, the BOD will also decrease. Clear? And the water will be less polluted. So these microorganisms, they can convert pollutant to less harmful substances. Clear? And then finally the water can be released into rivers and the oceans. Now what are the government initiative? Government have initiated plans like Ganga Action Plan and Yamuna Action Plan, building STPs to reduce river pollution. So STPs means sewage treatment plans. The government is building a lot of sewage treatment plans to reduce river pollution. Okay, now there are some interesting questions for you. First question, a city's sewage treatment plant suddenly lost its flocks due to contamination. Why would this be a serious health problem for the treatment process? Next question, why do we pump some activated sludge back into the aeration tank rather than sending it all to the anaerobic digesters? So you have to think about these questions. Why you are pumping back some of the activated sludge into the aeration tank? What is the need for that? Next question, how do you explain the relationship between BOD levels and the water cleanliness to a friend? So is there any relationship between BOD levels and the cleanliness of the water? Are they two related? Okay, so these are the questions. You have to critically analyze them. Okay, this will enhance your critical thinking ability as well. Okay, so with this, we have completed today's session. Okay, so we'll end today's session. I hope this session was quite knowledgeable for you. We'll meet you in the next session. Thank you very much for listening.